Hello, my name's Liz and you can find me on Instagram with the name of Myrtle Knits for all your knitting questions you might have. I'm also on there with a channel called Just Grow With It, which is I'm just starting to grow vegetables again and making our garden with a little vegetable plot if you're interested in gardening as well or vegetable growing. Now we'll get straight into the basic cast on. This is a method that my nan taught me, and I used to use straight needles, which I've got here, and I think these ones probably are my nan's. And the method works very well, but now I tend to knit a lot of things in the round. I do a long tail cast on. These needles are the ones I now tend to use. Again, they're what you'd call it, they're a straight needle, but they're on a piece of cord, and that allows you to knit in the round, but you can also knit back and forth with no problems at all, which is what I first did when I used them for the very first time. Now to start off, what you need to do is you need to make a slip knot. Now to do that, if you just drape the yarn over your hand like this, so you have the tail in front and the yarn attached to the ball at the back, and then bring that yarn that's attached to the ball up over your fingers, so you loop it all around your fingers and then cross it over the yarn tail, hold on to that, and then what you want to do is bring that through, so you're making it into a little loop as it goes through. Grab hold of that loop, hold on to both pieces of yarn and just pull on the loop like that. Now that loop's obviously too big to be knitting with, so what we need to do is just tighten that up, but we don't want to do it too tight. So all I do is I just pull on the yarn that's attached to the ball until it's a bit smaller. And then I get my needles, okay, and I tend to hold them together to pop them through that loop. So pop them through like that, and then holding your towel in your left hand and your working yarn in your right hand, just give it a little tug, not too tight, because we don't want these stitches on the cast on to be too tight, because when you come to do your next row of where you start your knitting, if they're too tight, it just makes it a little bit tricky. It's okay, you'll get there, but it just might take a little bit longer. And then what we're going to do is I cross my needles like this, so the one in my right hand goes to the back and the one in my left hand is at the front. And then with my working yarn, which is attached to the ball, I get hold of it and I take it around the back of that needle and bring it forward. So I wrap it around the needle from the back to the front, and there it is. Now what we want to do is I want to catch this piece of yarn, because this is going to make my next stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down gently. It's a bit tricky when you start off with your first few stitches. It can be a little bit tricky to hold on to everything, but you'll find your way. You'll find how you like to hold the needles. Today I'm going to be showing you how I learnt to knit, and that was with throwing the yarn, which I tend not to knit like that anymore, but I'll go into those in later videos. Now what we need to do is grab that, as we're coming down, we're just going to grab that bit of yarn which is attached to the ball, and there it is, right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do once my needle's in and it's gone underneath that other stitch is I'm going to pull it out towards me and make a loop, and then with my left needle I'm just going to pop underneath, pop the needle up, and there it is. I've got 2 stitches on this needle now. So what I'm going to do, hold those together again, and with my yarn attached to the ball, I'm just going to give it a little tug so it's a bit tighter but not too tight, and then I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to take the yarn, I'm going to wrap it from back to front around the right needle, so it's pulled forward here. Then I'm going to slide that one down, and I want to grab it as I turn my working needle, my right hand needle downwards into that top stitch on that left needle. So I'm turning it down, so I'm grabbing that yarn, working yarn here as I go, and I'm poking it downwards underneath that top stitch, and then I'm going to pull it out slightly until I've got a loop big enough that I can just take my left needle and pick that up from underneath, and now I've got 3 stitches. So I'm going to do that again, and I should just do a few slowly for you. And that's the very basic cast on method I was shown. Today I'm just using a little bit of a chunky wool that I have, and I'm just putting them onto a 4.5 circular needle. But when you come to do your project, you'll look at the needle size that is required for the particular yarn you've decided to use. But that's all for today, but next time I'll go on to show you how to do a knit stitch, and we'll do several rows of that, and that will form what's called a garter stitch. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, it'd be lovely if you subscribe, because I do hope to do some regular tutorials and maybe later on some videos, some podcasts. And if you put your notifications on, you won't miss an episode once I do get going. And you can give me a thumbs up if you like it, and obviously if you don't like it, you can also give me a thumbs down. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.